Hi crafters, I'm here today with another 5-minute make. Now this one is thinking about Mother's Day, which is coming up in the UK very soon, but I've adapted the design so that it can easily be used for something like sympathy, thank you, get well, birthday, anniversary, absolutely anything depending on the colours you use and of course the sentiment that you use too. So let's dive straight in, and don't forget of course, if you love quick makes like this, to join the playlist that has a 5-minute makes completely full of them, lots and lots there for you to browse through. I think there's 20 something now. I'll make sure that's linked at the end for you. So today we're working on a DL card base, and I have cut myself 2 panels that are just slightly smaller than the DL base here that I can work on. Now one of them's going to be for ink blending onto and one of them's going to be for die cutting into. Now as you can see, I've got some die cut leaves there. These have come from the Textures Winter Rose. This is from the Secret Garden collection. So this is a full die set with a layering rose on, but the leaves are separate. So I've decided to use those on their own. So I've taken these and I'm going to work on this panel of smooth white cardstock, but the first thing I want to do is stamp a sentiment so that I know where the placement is when I come to do my die cutting with the leaves. So I'll pop those to the side for a moment and put my panel onto my mat here. I've got my magnets to hold it still, and I've just got a simple sentiment that says you are the best. Like I say, I'm thinking about Mother's Day, but of course this could be for absolutely any occasion. So position that wherever you want it on your card, because then you can adapt your die cuts to fit around it. So I think usually I tend to go to one side rather than in the center, and I like to also go around about a third of the way, either up or down the card. So about there I think will work well, and for this I'm just going to use a simple black ink that's going to really stand out. So I'm going with VersaFine Clair, and I'll probably stamp this 2 or 3 times depending on how the first image comes out, but unless it's a really juicy brand new ink pad or recently been re-inked, usually I tend to do a couple of goes. But do you know what, that actually looks really good. I think I'm going to leave that as it is, so I'll pop these to the side. Now before you go to the die cutting, you do want to make sure this is fully dry because you don't want to smudge it in your machine. I'm going to start positioning some leaves around the design. Now, of course, I'm using a bit of tape to hold these still, and I'm going to run those through. Just check that they've all cut through, and I can see that they have, so I'm going to pop these out, being really careful with if you've used low-tack tape because we want to keep the base nice and clean. And then position the leaves again a second time just around your design to complete the top. And that's going to be your top panel. Now to add some colour to the panel that goes underneath. Now you can switch up the designs if you want to, so you can have completely different colours to what I've chosen depending on your theme. So I'm going to start with Evergreen Bow. This one is going to go around about the bottom quarter. Then my next colour is Peeled Paint. I'm going to overlap the inks a little bit, but I'm going to add some water in a little while, so it doesn't matter too much if you don't get a perfect blend. My next colour is Fossilized Amber. So this is going to fill a quarter again. And then lastly, I'm going to go with Rusty Hinge for the top quarter. Now make sure you move your card base and your top panel out of the way now, and just squirt the entire surface with some water. I'm using the Tim Holtz, this is the heavyweight cardstock, so it's going to hold the water and the ink really well. And I want to spritz this enough so that those colours merge together a little. So because I'm using Oxides, I'm also going to get that oxidization happening in there as well. And as you can see, it's actually drying really quickly and soaking in. Now, although the surface is dry, you don't want to be putting this on your card just yet. Adhesive won't quite stick, so you do want to give that a few more minutes, or if you can, use your heat gun to finish it off. So now to put the card together, I'm just going to glue this inked panel down directly onto my card. The reason I didn't ink the card base itself is just in case there was any warpings. Most card bases aren't built to take a lot of moisture, a lot of wet medium, so I like to do any inking, painting, things like this onto a separate panel and then glue it down flat onto my card base. And this ensures that my card base is then going to stay nice and smooth and flat. And then I'm going to put this over the top. Look how beautiful that's going to be, but I'm going to use a foam for this. So I raise it up and I'll have a little bit of a drop shadow. So I'm going to cut some pieces to be able to pop this down. And I'm actually using a foam adhesive sheet, and this is a spare piece, so I've got lots of odd shapes in here, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to cut strips and squares to fit around all the leaves. Now, of course, this sort of design of card, you could do horizontal or vertical. It just depends how you stamp your sentiment right in the beginning. And if you wanted to take something like a black or a white pen and just draw a simple line down the centre of the leaf, just to give that little bit of detail, you can also do that too. So there's a very quick, simple card that you can do in any colourway and any sentiment, of course. Let me know if you're going to try this out. Look at the dimension you've got there and the beautiful colours popping from underneath. So as I say, this is part of the 5-minute makes. You can find an entire playlist just here, showing you lots and lots of different cards that are super, super quick to make. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Take care, and I hope to see you again very soon.